Torquemada, the first Grand Inquisitor of the Spanish Inquisition, has gone down in history as one of the most feared and hated men of the late Middle Ages. Appointed in 1483, he turned the Inquisition into a weapon of terror, punishing not just heresy, but entire communities through fear, torture, and death. Torquemada focused much of his attention on converts, Jews and Muslims who had converted to Christianity but were suspected of secretly practicing their old religions. Proof was rarely needed. People could be accused based on rumors, jealousy, or personal grudges. Once accused, victims were hauled before inquisitors and subjected to brutal torture until they confessed. The strappado was a favorite method. Victims had their hands tied behind their backs and were raised into the air by ropes, often until their shoulders snapped from their sockets. Another device, the rack, stretched bodies until their muscles tore and joints broke. There was also the water torture, where water was poured down a prisoner's throat until they felt like they were drowning, a primitive version of what today we call waterboarding. Under such agony, many confessed to crimes they never committed, sealing their fate at the stake. Public executions, known as acts of faith, were very common. Entire families, sometimes even children, were paraded in front of crowds before being burned alive. These events served as both punishment and a warning to anyone who might defy the church. Torquemada's cruelty reached beyond torture chambers. He played a leading role in the 1492 Edict of Expulsion, which forced Spain's Jews to convert or leave. Robespierre was a leader during the French Revolution, and he is remembered for one of the bloodiest periods in history, the Reign of Terror. This was from 1793 to 1794, a time when the government used fear to control people. Robespierre believed that the way to protect the revolution was to kill anyone who seemed like an enemy. At first, Robespierre spoke about freedom and equality, but soon he became the man who made executions an everyday event. He pushed through a law called the Law of Suspects, which meant that almost anyone could be arrested. You did not need proof. If someone whispered that you were against the revolution, you could be dragged away. Even small things, like not showing enough excitement for the revolution, were treated as crimes. About 300,000 people were arrested during this time. Around 17,000 were officially executed, and thousands more died in prisons or were killed without proper trials. Trials were also short and unfair. People could not have lawyers, and sometimes there was not even real evidence. The jury had two choices: let you go or send you to death. People lived in constant worry that they might say or do something wrong and lose their lives. Families were destroyed, whole communities were silenced, and in the end, Robespierre himself was arrested. His enemies turned against him, and in July 1794, he was executed by the very machine he used to kill others.